Today is December 31st, 2024. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's 35 degrees outside. I just had the car on for a few minutes, warming it up. I couldn't sleep because I was so cold. And yes, I have to go to the bathroom. We'll have to go outside. Today is 5 years from when Scott Glines threw me out of my home. Today, 5 years ago. 5 years. Family court system. When do you think he's going to divide those marital assets? When do you think he might decide that he's going to do that? Or is it more likely and more probable that he will decide to kill me before he divides those marital assets? We all know the answer to that one, except for the family court system, who is ignorant and incompetent. Later on, when I'm a little more awake, I am going to attach the voicemail that Scott Glines left for me on December 31st, 2019. So you can listen for yourself. I am a documenter. It is not me just saying this. It is me showing you. I have already posted the audio of Scott Glines threatening to throw me out of my home and change the locks when I told him I wanted a divorce. I told him I was done. That was about a week before December 31st, 2019. He threatened. I went through a week of unhinged psychopath fear like I have never known, because I've never seen a person look like that in my life. Unhinged. After the threat of throwing me out of my home, and then the gun showing up in my closet 2 hours later, and then him blocking me out of my home a couple of days after that, I eventually got back in after about an hour. I have the video on that. Well, I have not yet posted that. Then I think it was the next day, I was bringing in groceries. Early in the morning, everyone was still sleeping. He locked me out of the house and then was like, "Oh, so sorry, I didn't know you were bringing in groceries." Not, "Yes, you did. You just locked me out." And then a couple of days after that, December 31st, 2019, when he threw me out of my home, all of my stuff on the curb, police came and said, "There's nothing they can do to help me. I have to go to the courts." I will post the voicemail he left for me because I wasn't even home when he did it. I was with Officer Robin Drummond, who is a police chaplain, asking her for help. What do I do? While I was with her, seeking some advice, is when he started throwing all of my things out into the street. I showed her the texts as he was texting me, telling her, what do I do? The police report, the police coming, acknowledging, saying there's nothing that they can do, helping me. Or so I thought at the time. What nice officers. They're helping me get my stuff out of the street and into my car. And now 5 years later, although it didn't take me 5 years to realize this, they were not helping me. They were helping him. They helped him throw me out of my home. Scott Glines wanted me to get all the stuff out of the front of the house. Well, you know what? The police assisted with that one. Anyway, I will post that voicemail later. The pictures of my stuff in front of the house. The police report. 5 years. That left me homeless for the first time. My mom gave me money, get an apartment, slowly started buying air mattresses for the kids to sleep on, a towel, paper plates and plastic forks and knives to begin with, because Scott Glines kept everything. I had to buy every basic living essential item because Scott Glines kept everything. I had to get an attorney to figure out how to handle the divorce. I had to pay rent every month that I couldn't afford. Scott Glines playing legal games so that the divorce just kept going on and on. I could no longer afford the attorney after $20,000 or whatever the amount was. And yes, eventually I was evicted from that apartment. More than 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I have been living like this. No bathroom facilities, no running water, no electricity, no place to warm up my food, no place to keep food cold, no place to brush my teeth, no place to get changed. 2 years. More than 2 years. Family court system. When do you think Scott Glines will decide to divide the marital assets that he has nearly 100% control over? And when I say 100% control over, I had my car when he threw me out. Technically, my car was a marital asset. Family court, when will he divide those marital assets? Or is it the more likely scenario that is becoming all too familiar in our society? What the husband does to the wife. You think this man has 1 ounce of regard for my life? He does not. Police department, what do you think Scott Glines is going to do to my life? Divide those marital assets and help me live my life after a divorce? 5 years ago, he threw me out of my home. Kept everything, even though I was not earning enough money to support myself and 3 children. More than 2 years ago, I became homeless and have been living like this for 2 years. Police department, what do you think is going to happen? Can you possibly predict what your future work is going to have to entail? I will post the voicemail later. This is our family court system. This is our police department's handling of domestic violence. This is our system. This is unbelievable. Well, as I stated in the video I made earlier this morning, today is 5 years since Scott Glines threw me out of my home. And I was going to post the voicemail he left for me on December 31st, 2019. I just went through some of my other exhibits that I was never allowed to present in court. Thank you, Benjamin Galloway. And the whole family court system. 5 years. Nothing has been done. All right, so this first thing, I found a few other things that I'll just point out as well. Okay, so this one, so now my contact, I always had him call as my Scott because I also have a brother Scott. So in my contact list, brother Scott is labeled as brother Scott and my husband Scott was labeled as my Scott. You will see the date is December 31st, 2019. 9:26 p.m. was the time of this voicemail. This is just the transcript of the voicemail on my phone. Like this is, my phone does this. So I'm not going to read it. You can read it if you want to. It's on there. I'm going to play the voicemail.
All of your stuff is out on the curb. All of it. So have a great night. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your boyfriend. And all your stuff is out there. I'm posting it for free. So everything, all your work clothes, everything, it's gone. Out front, on the curb, furniture, you name it. Later.
So I think I mentioned this in another video. I was not seeing anyone. There was no boyfriend. There was no nothing. Anyone who knows this type of personality will never take responsibility for their actions. They're going to accuse you. And yes, he had cheated on me so many times throughout the marriage. I was not seeing anyone, but he had to have an excuse. That was the voicemail he left for me. December 31st, 2019. While, let's see, that one was 9:34. Here's the texts from that day. My first text starts out, there's such a glare. I'll be busy today, have lots to do. That was at 10:45 a.m. I did have a lot to do. I also needed a chance to clear my head. I had so much anxiety building up in me that whole week. He was becoming increasingly more unhinged. Remember, about a week before, not quite a week before, I told him I was done. I had taken off my wedding ring. He threatened to throw me out of my home and change the locks. A couple of days later, then he did block me out of my home, would not let me in. One time for about an hour, I got back in. The other time, he just locked the door while I was bringing in groceries, so I couldn't get in. Now, this is December 31st. By this day, panic attacks, anxiety, was really bad. So anyway, my first text to him, 10:45 a.m. I'll be busy today, have lots to do. He responds to me at 6 p.m. or he texts me at 6 p.m. So what are you up to? I did not get back to him. 6:59 p.m. He says, okay, I'll make plans with the kids since you won't communicate. My kids were teenagers. I knew exactly what plans they had for that night. They all had plans with a friend set up before that day. I knew exactly where my kids were going to be, what their plans were. Like I said, Scott Glines has no awareness. 7:33 p.m., I still did not respond. 7:33, he texted me at 6. I did not respond. 7:33 p.m., your clothes and stuff are out front and some going to a dumpster. Have fun on your date. So remember, there was no date. Okay, I did not respond to him in an hour and a half. Within an hour and a half, he decided to throw all of my stuff out into the street. My storage was full on my phone. I got cut off. I tried to clear some, but I'll talk as fast as I can because I don't know how far I'll get. Continuing on here, 7:33 p.m. He says, your clothes and stuff are out front and some going to a dumpster. Have fun on your date. Remember, no date. All right, 7:52 p.m. Updated Facebook for you. I'm going to show you in 1 second. I pulled up just a few of my exhibits. I'll show you what the Facebook posts that he posted are. Just keep in mind the time frame here. 7:33, he starts throwing my things out on the street. All right, 7:52, updated Facebook for you. 8:22 now he says boxes out front, and now he starts texting me photos of my things out in the street. Why isn't this going down? All right, it's not scrolling down, but okay. My dresser, you can see he cleared off my dresser, put everything in a box. Here he's starting to put things out front. My nightstand, a duffel bag, whatever's in that box. It looks like it's the box that was on top of the dresser. And now here's more things. You've got a hamper, a TV box, just bins, a cooler. Okay, so now he started posting these pictures 8:22 p.m. He's throwing my things out in the street at 8:22 p.m. All right, just gonna kind of work through this. Here's his Facebook posts. Now, this is my screenshot time, 9:34 p.m. It says he posted it an hour ago, so about 8:34. At the same time that he is throwing my things out in the street, he is posting on Facebook that I left my family. Enjoy the freedom the new year brings you as you leave your kids behind for your newfound whatever. Evan and I are enjoying gourmet leftovers and the family is strong on our own. Enjoy the fireworks and hotel. Yes, those fireworks too. Best to you. And then he posts a picture of himself and my son on Facebook. I've blurted out my son. And there he is, Scott Glines. Again, same time he is throwing my things out on the ground out front of the house. He's posting on Facebook, creating the story now to tell everyone else that I left my family. Here's the other post. 11:11 was my screenshot time, posted like 3 hours before that. New Year's Eve dinner with my son as my wife skips out to spend the night with her new thing. Reminds me of Christmas Eve morning. Profile update, divorce. Family and holding it together is the true strength that is missing these days. What a good man, isn't he? Recall the